I was fascinated with death at a very young age. I was always very curious about the afterlife. And for some reason, I was very connected to things that happened to people, you know, and just I don't know, just a fascination that I had. It wasn't creepy in any way. I felt very, I don't want to say close to it, but I felt comfortable. That's the word. I felt comfortable. I wasn't scared or freaked out or anything. You know, I just always felt like a closeness. Like it was an extension of my life. It was part of my life. So I didn't have any fear, you know, about it. So that's good to know. There we go with that. As I grew older, my very first apparition that I saw was my grandfather. I was 6 years old, and we were living in Brooklyn, and I remember sitting in the living room and seeing my grandfather standing like in the hallway between the bedroom, like my mom's bedroom, my bedroom's over here, their bedroom's over there. So I was like over here in the living room watching TV. I think I was watching television, and then I looked over, I saw like something through this peripheral vision. It was something dark, like a dark shadow. And I turned around and I looked, and it was my grandfather. He was just standing there, not smiling, not saying anything, just looking at me. And but I knew, even at that age, that something was off, you know? It wasn't my normal grandfather. It was, he didn't say like, oh, Rosanna, you know, or hey, you know, or blow me a kiss or anything. He just was standing with no emotion, kind of pulled me back, though I wasn't afraid. I knew that he wanted me to get closer. So I got closer, and as I got closer, he started fading away, and then he just went away. In the same apartment, oh shit, sorry, I have to take this. I'm going to take this and she can watch this. Hey,
Hey, how you doing?
I'm okay. Can I call you right back? Because I'm recording.
Oh, okay.
All right, bye.
Bye.
She's going to be on it and she doesn't even know it. So, so I should turn that down. Oh my God, that freaked me out. That's so funny. So anyway, so what happened was this thing, you know, this room, this apartment had always given me weird vibes. Like there was something there when there wasn't, or I didn't see a lot of things, but I always felt presence there. Even when I was alone, I wasn't alone. You know, I remember hiding under the table, to read, because my teacher knew that I didn't speak any English, and she was trying to help me, so she would always give me all these books to take home, even though I wasn't allowed to have them. So, you know, she would explain it to my parents. I don't know, they didn't speak English either, so I don't know how I knew, but I understood that these were special because I wasn't allowed to have them. So I would look, and the very first book that I read was See Spot Run, Run Spot Run. Remember that book? Little thin books. That was my very first one, and I was just like, you know, S, D. You know, it's just like, I remember just fighting so hard under this table, right? And but I always felt there was somebody there helping me. Like, it's hard to explain. It wasn't anybody I knew. It was just somebody there, like guiding me, sort of like pushing me. You could do this. This is good. You could do this, right? And anyway, a few years later, I was about 12. I think it was in the same apartment. My parents were at work. Excuse me, I have to drink. That's the thunder, because, of course, it would be thunder right now while I'm talking about ghost stories. Oh my God, that coffee is so strong and good. Oh my God. So this is the freaky one, okay? I went to a Catholic school. I was in Catholic school, and I wore a uniform, of course, and I came home, and I was alone because my parents worked. And my parents had, a big bedroom, and on top of the, in the wall in the back of the bed, as all good Catholics do, they have the crucifix hanging on the, and it was like, just like this. It was a light green, creepy. It was from Spain, that we had gotten from Spain. And it had two pieces, just like this. It had the one piece in the front, and then it had this, like wood. It was wooden. So it had this one piece in the front, and then it had like a opening, a dent in here where the other piece of wood would go in, and it kind of locked in like a Lego. Okay? So it locked in. And the top part, I forget exactly how it works, but I remember feeling like there was something in the room that was so negative that I couldn't even breathe. I remember feeling like I'm choking, really literally choking, like I could not breathe. I was gasping for air, and I thought, but I didn't feel anything on me. I didn't feel anything touching me. Anyway, this entity was so negative that it wouldn't leave me alone. And I couldn't find any closure. I remember I went to the bathroom, and I put cold water on my face, and I was just trying to snap myself out of it. I remember grabbing my little Bible or the little book that I had, and I was just praying really hard. And I remember calling out to it and saying, "Who are you? What are you doing? Why are you doing this to me?" Like, I couldn't understand it, but I knew it was bad. Whatever it was evil. And it wanted something from me. I did not know what it was, and I couldn't understand. You figure I'm only 12. I mean, I didn't know anything. I wasn't dating. I didn't have a boyfriend. I was a virgin. I was a 12. I was a kid. So I said, for some reason, this feeling that came over me quickly turned into, I'm okay. For some reason, and this is going to sound weird, but I'm going to try and explain it the best way I can. It was almost like that seraphim feeling where the wings went around me. I felt like there was a shield being placed around my body, like a bubble, like the John Travolta movie, like the Bubble Boy. I felt like something was shielding me, a literal shield. Immediately, the fear was gone. But I didn't hear the words, but I heard in my brain something come in, information came in somehow that said, you have to fight it. Or almost like, you do this. Like I was given a job. That's what it felt like. Like somebody had given me a job. Go fight this thing. You go fight it. This is you. That's what it felt like to me. Like my parents telling me to do something. That's what it felt like. So I was not afraid at all. I was not afraid at all. All of a sudden, I felt very brave and very strong, yet I still felt that entity there. And something said to me, go to the room, go to your mother's room where the cross is, because I don't believe I had the crucifix over my bed. I don't think she put one over my bed. Or no, she didn't. She had the one. And I had, other things on my bed, like, I don't know, Donny Osmond posters. Because he was my man at the time. So that's horrible. So it's true. And I went over to the bedroom and I looked at the cross, the crucifix. And it was that green thing that looked just like this. It didn't look like this, but I'm just saying it's like two pieces that moved. And I said, I'm not afraid. I remember saying, I'm not afraid. And I looked around and I didn't see anything, but I felt this heaviness growing, like when you're really angry at something, or when you're looking at somebody and they're holding something in and they're getting ready to whoop your ass. That look where, you can see them visibly getting angry and you have to back off. That's what it felt like. Whatever was in the apartment was now in that bedroom with me. And I was holding my little my little Saint Mary, my little Mary. And I said, I'm not afraid. I'm here to tell you to leave me alone. Leave me alone. And the more I said, leave me alone, the more pressure I felt. And then I started, whatever was around me, I started thinking like I was close to the bed and I felt something was going to come out and grab my feet and pull me under the bed. So it's like everything that I looked at kept thinking, oh, something's going to grab my legs. Somebody's going to come up behind me. Somebody's going to jump out of the closet. Somebody's going to jump out in the window. Somebody's going to come running down the hallway and stab me. All these things enveloped into this one giant cloud that surrounded me and filled me, but yet I was still inside this shield, so I didn't feel any fear. I just knew that it was there. I was pissing it off. Whatever it was, I was definitely making it angry. It did not like me. And I thought, well, what did I do? What the hell did I do? So I just kept looking at the cross, and then I got on my knees. I got right on my knees and I said, Our Father. And I just said, and Our Father. And I said, protect me. I belong to you. Help me, please. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do. And then I remember looking up at it and that freaking cross split in half. Listen, you don't have to believe me. But that cross that was like this part that was, God, I wish I could explain it. It was like okay. Do you know like when you make cabins, the log cabins, how they have the dent and then you put the log on top of the dent and then it was just like that. So it had like a dent, but I can't remember if it was the dent with this. Oh, it was this way. So it was like that. So the Jesus was here in one piece with the big silver Jesus. And this was the piece that had the dent in it. And this was solid. Well, this frickin' thing went shoo, upside down. And now it was an inverted cross. And I was freaking out. But I was completely and 100% knew that I was safe. It's like a herd of wolves surrounded me and were growling at this thing that did that to the crucifix because it was completely upside. There was no reason for it to break like that. It was together. So for it to come off was, I don't even know how that happened. It was like together. I don't know, I can't explain it. It had like little metal things on it. It was like somebody ripped it off. Literally went and ripped it off and the piece was down, but it was hanging so I could see it inverted Jesus was facing the wall, and I said, no, you don't do that. And I, for some reason, jumped on the bed and I grabbed the crucifix and I held it in my hand and I put him back together. And I held it like this, like from the movie The Sentinel, that movie from the 70s. I held it in front of me and I just started swinging it. I remember I walked through every single space in that bedroom and I would face the corner. I don't know where I got this from. And that's another thing. I didn't know any of that stuff. Where'd this come from? Where did these ideas come from? We were raised very strictly. I wasn't allowed to watch movies like that. You know, later when I was a teenager, I watched them and I was like, oh my God, that was me when I was a kid. Like, I'm not going to tell my friends that. They'll never invite me over. You know what I mean? How would I know these things? But it was like something was in me, moving me to do this. And I would face the corner, the top corner, the lower corner. I walked around. I went like this. I went like that. I went around. I went over the whole room. I opened the closet, not even afraid of was going to pop out of there. I put it inside the closet. I went into the inner corners in the closet, closed the closet. I went through the entire apartment like this while I was praying, our Father, you know, our Father. And then I put I don't remember how I fixed it. I think I got in trouble because I didn't want to tell my parents what happened. So I got in trouble for breaking the cross, but not really in bad trouble, it was, you know, whatever. And I left it on because I couldn't get it back. I couldn't get it back the way it was. They would have had to fix it. So I just left it on the bed and said, look, I just was playing with it and I broke it. Sorry, you know, kind of things I didn't want to say. Why? Because my mom was very sensitive and to those kind of things, and not in a good way. Like she didn't want to hear any of that stuff. Like, no, that didn't happen, you know? And my father really didn't want to know any of that stuff. So I was stuck kind of in the middle of all of it. But I was always very religious and always very warrior-like. That's why I call myself the vessel and host, because I feel like I am. And a lot of times I just feel like I am. A lot of times, you know, I'll meet people. Even when I was younger, I would love to meet people and I would just reach out to someone who looked like they were in trouble, even though they just sitting there and didn't say anything to me. Like, I know that you're in trouble and everything's going to be okay. Don't worry about that. It's going to go away, or you're, look at Coco. Is that the cutest thing? So I felt like, you know, because of that sensitivity that I have for those kind of things, you know, as I've grown now, oh, my hair stood up. I hope that's not like electricity. Okay, that's creepy, but it's true. So that was the story of that apartment. And the school that I went to in Brooklyn was a beautiful school. It was, well, I'll tell you what it is because it doesn't matter. St. Catherine's of Alexandria. And they had this little section in the back where you would go to pray by the church, because I forget when it was. I think it's once a week or whatever. We would go to church to pray. And they had this section that was gated in, and it was like a cave. And inside this little cave was a statue of St. Mary and a little bench where you would put your knees and you'd pray. And I'd be there all the time because I just felt so close to her. I've always felt this closeness to her, and Jesus too. But for me, I was always closest to her. Maybe it's because she was a woman, or, you know, I don't know if that's what it was, but it doesn't matter. Either way, also to him as I got older, you know, I found that he would show himself to me. In fact, I'll tell you a quick story. I was in the choir, and I was there when they had the Lady of Fatima statue brought in. It was like a special day, you know how they travel with the statue. And I was on the top level, and I was literally crying because I couldn't get down there because I was in the choir. I remember thinking I'm gonna run out in the middle of the song just so I can go down there and look at her, but I didn't get a chance to. But I did get to see the Shroud of Turin. Now the Shroud of Turin was brought in. It was in back in the day. And I'm talking like in the 70s. It was back in the day. I don't know how they got it in there, but it was in that church. And it was so big. It was really tall. I thought it was going to be like a regular size, but I remember when I looked at it, it was like a reddish color, like a brownish reddish color, and it was under glass. We couldn't touch it, obviously, and we were all ooh. But the kids were like dumb. They were like, oh, that's, yeah. But I was, oh my God, I was enthralled. I saw every little drop of where the blood was, on the crown of the crown of thorns. Oh my God, why am I sorry? Sorry, I wasn't expecting to get emotional. Oh wow, okay. Turned into like the crying show, and I don't even want to prevent it because this damn thing turned on by itself and it wanted me to record this for some reason. I don't know why, but I believe that everything happens for a reason. Yes, I do. I believe that we meet people to learn from, to get lessons from, and that will help us in our life so that we can ingest that information and share it with other people. I know that's so super corny. This is the corn show. What can I tell you? I just really feel like that very deeply. That there's a reason for me, for this thing to go on by itself. This EMF meter did not go on at all today. It's on, but it has not beeped once. So there is no entity here. It's just me and whatever it is that's not, oh, fuck. Sorry. That's not registering at all. But for whatever reason, maybe somebody needed to hear this today. Maybe somebody needed to see it. I don't know. But maybe. I believe that that's probably what it is. So if you're watching right now and you needed to hear this, I want you to know something. I will never push my religion on anybody. Never. I don't even go to church every Sunday. I want to try and go back to church. I'm looking for a church to go to. It doesn't even have to be Catholic because I don't believe in the structure of man. I believe that God is within you, and if you can't make it to church, then you could pray at home. I do believe that. I believe that he knows. But if he also knows that you're willing and able to do it, you should go, and there shouldn't be an excuse for you not to. I have no excuse. I feel very bad about that. That's why I'm looking for a church. But I do want you to know that if you're in a place in your life where you don't know what to believe, or maybe you've lost your faith, which I'm feeling maybe a lot of you have, I want you to know faith is something that doesn't come to you unless you look for it. And if you're looking for something to believe in, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to dislodge yourself from media. You have to dislodge yourself from your friends that don't say, that say to you, there's no such thing. You have to get rid of that and actually be honest with yourself. Be alone in a room and have the courage to really look into it and say, and look in the mirror, even if you have to, and say to yourself, you know what? Deep down, I kind of do believe in it, but I really don't want to tell anybody because everybody that I know doesn't believe in it, and I don't want to be that crazy Christian or something, If that's what it is, don't listen to the voice. Just believe in you and yourself and really dig deep and start searching for what you're thankful for and what you're grateful for in this life, because it didn't just pop into your life for no reason. I've always felt protected, very much protected, like I'm protected. I really am. I feel like I'm wearing an armor all the time. Oh, really, it's true. On that note, I will talk to you. I'll talk to you Friday. This is going to come out Wednesday. You'll see this one Wednesday. And I will keep shooting out shorts. And I started a playlist called Poetry and Quotes, because, I'm published. So I have a poetry book that's written already, that's published. And that playlist is just my poems and my quotes. So I'm putting them in Canva and putting them together to make a short. And that's what I'm going to do next Monday coming. It's going to be how to do a Canva short YouTube video. So I'm going to do that. I'll walk you through it. It'll be less than 15 minutes. And that'll be that. Okay? I'll talk to you soon. From me and Coco, we love you.